Hello students, in the previous lecture we have learned about the location of human heart and its external and internal structure. Today we will continue with the same topic, that is internal structure of human heart. Today we are going to learn about the valves. Valves are the structure that prevents the backflow of the blood. So here we are going to learn about the valves associated with your heart. The first valve is a tricuspid valve. Tricuspid valve is present between the right atrium and the right ventricle. It separates your right atrium from the right ventricle, also called as a right atrioventricular valve. Tricuspid valve, when you look your heart from the top, in this picture you can see your heart from the front when you cut a lateral section of your heart, but when you see your heart from the top, the opening between the atrial and the ventricular chamber where your valve is present, it will appear like presence of three cusps or three flaps, and this is your valve. Since there is presence of three cusps or three flaps over here, this valve is called as the tricuspid valve. The next valve is the bicuspid valve. Bicuspid valve is also called as the mitral valve and also called as a left atrioventricular valve, which separates your left atrium and the left ventricle. Bicuspid valve is called so because of the presence of two cusps. Okay, now these the valves, look at this picture. Your valves, it actually opens only towards one side. There is no backward movement of the blood. This is just to ensure that the blood moves only in a single direction. There is no backward flow of the blood. There must not be any bidirectional flow of the blood. Just to ensure that the valve opens only towards one side, like the hinge joint in your body, and the move. If we take an example of the door only opens towards one side. It doesn't open backward. In the same way, the valve also open towards one side. Now over here we'll see how these valves, especially the atrioventricular valve, what is the structure that prevents the backward movement of the valve. Now just observe this right side of your heart. So what happens over here when your atrial chambers, suppose there is blood filled in your atrial chamber. When the atrial chamber contracts, the valve opens. And when this valve opens, the blood from the right atrium enters the right ventricle. Now your right ventricles, they are filled with the blood. So what will happen? The atrioventricular valve or the tricuspid valve has to close. Now see, now the ventricles, they are filled up with the blood. Now this blood needs to be sent to the blood vessel. That means now from here the blood needs to go to the blood vessel. But what happens over here, since the ventricles, they are having strong muscular walls, the contractions made by ventricles are also very strong. And the flaps, the cusps are very thin, just like skin. They are skinny, thin flaps. Okay. So because of the strong ventricular contraction, the valves can move backwards. So what will happen if the valve moves backward? The blood from the ventricles can go back to the atrial chambers, as well as the blood can also go to the blood vessel. So there will be a bidirectional flow of the blood from the ventricles. Just to prevent that, your valves, they are attached to the string which is called as the chordae tendineae. Now look at this picture. Over here there is a structure called as chordae tendineae. These chordae tendineae, they extend from the wall of the ventricle to the bottom of the valve just to hold the valve. These tendinous cord holds the valve and prevents the backward movement of the valve. Okay, so they hold the valve properly, so the valve cannot move backward and there is only a unidirectional flow of the blood. So these chordae tendineae, they are a group of tough tendinous strands in the heart. The next valve is the semilunar aortic valve. Semilunar aortic valve is present between the left ventricle and the aorta, just to ensure that the blood doesn't comes back from aorta to the left ventricle. Okay, in the same way you have presence of semilunar pulmonary valve between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery. Again, the same reason, to prevent the backflow of the blood from the pulmonary artery to the right ventricle. These two valves, they are called as semilunar valves because they appear like half moon shaped structures. Since they are shaped so, they are named so. Now coming to the internal structure of the heart, what we have seen so far were the parts of the heart and the structures associated with it. Now we will take all of them together. So let's start with the 4 compartments first. So we'll in this part we'll go chamber by chamber and the parts associated with each chamber. The first chamber is a right atrium. Then you have the right ventricle, left atrium and left ventricle. So these are the 4 chambers of your heart. Now between these 4 chambers, if we see the ventricle, there is a separation between the ventricles. This separation is called as the septum. Okay, and this septum is the interventricular septum, which separates your right ventricle from the left ventricle. Since it was not easy to mark the interatrial septum, I have taken a different picture over here. So the interatrial septum is present between the right atrium and the left atrium. Together, these two septums, they are called as interatrioventricular septum. Interatrioventricular septum separates your right side of your heart from the left side of your heart. What is the utility of this septum? This septum marks the boundary between the two different parts of the heart and does not allow the blood to mix. It doesn't allow oxygenated blood to mix with the deoxygenated blood and makes our circulatory system very, very efficient. Okay. Now, if we just to have a comparison about the thickness of the wall, the atrial chambers, they have the thinnest wall as compared to the ventricle. Since these atrial chambers need to pump the blood just to the ventricles, they are having thin walls. Now, if we look at the wall of the ventricles, they have thick and muscular wall. So, and if we compare the wall of the right ventricle and the wall of the left ventricle has thicker wall as compared to the right ventricle. Since the right ventricle needs to pump the blood only to the lungs, but the left ventricle has to pump the blood to the body part. The blood from the left ventricle has to reach each and every part of the body. That means from head to toe. So they are the thickest. We will now talk about the receiving compartments of your heart. The receiving compartments of your heart, they are the atrial chambers, and the distributing compartments are the ventricular chambers. So first we will learn about the structures that are associated with your right atrium. The blood vessel that brings deoxygenated blood from the upper compartment of your body into the right atrium is the superior vena cava, which is also called as precaval. The next blood vessel is the inferior vena cava. Inferior vena cava brings the deoxygenated blood from the lower parts of your body into the right atrium. So both of these blood vessels, they are bringing the deoxygenated blood to the right atrium. There is one more blood vessel that brings deoxygenated blood from the wall of the heart, which is the coronary vein that brings the deoxygenated blood to the right atrium through coronary sinus. Okay, so there are three blood vessels that brings the deoxygenated blood to the right atrium: superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, coronary veins through coronary sinus. Out of these three blood vessels, two have valves and one does not have valve. Inferior vena cava and coronary sinus, they have presence of the valve. Coronary sinus has presence of sebaceous valve and inferior vena cava has presence of eustachious valve. Okay, now superior vena cava is devoid of valve. It does not have valve. It is because of a reason. See, when the blood reaches the atrial chamber, the right atrium contracts to send the blood to the ventricle. When the atrial chambers contract, the opening of the superior vena cava closes automatically. Since the opening of the superior vena cava closes automatically, there is no requirement of the valve. And secondly, the blood has to go against the gravity to go into the superior vena cava. So superior vena cava does not have presence of the valve. Okay. Now, if we look at the valve, the right atrioventricular valve, which is also called as a tricuspid valve, because of the presence of three cusps that I have discussed before, why it is called as tricuspid. Okay. Now, if you look at the left atrium receives the blood. It is a receiving chamber that receives oxygenated blood with the help of the pulmonary vein. There are 4 pulmonary veins, that means 2 pairs of pulmonary vein, 1 pair from each lung. So from right side and from the left side, the pulmonary vein, it comes and enters into the left atrium. Now pulmonary vein, the opening of the pulmonary vein is also devoid of valves. Again, the same reason will be applicable over here. When the left atrium contracts, because of contraction of the atrial chambers, the opening of the pulmonary vein closes automatically. Okay, so they do not require valve. So pulmonary veins, the openings do not have presence of the valve. Now from the left atrial chamber, the blood is pumped into the left ventricle with the help of a valve which is called as a bicuspid or mitral valve. Because of the presence of 2 cusps, it is called as the bicuspid valve. Okay, now see, when we look at the ventricles and the auricles, the ventricles, they have more thicker and muscular walls, plus the wall is also very wavy. The wall of the ventricles, they are wavy because of the presence of the papillary muscles. Presence of papillary muscles in both the ventricle makes the wall wavy. These papillary muscles are attached chordae tendineae, which extends from the muscles and reaches the bottom of the flaps or the valve. And what is the requirement of chordae tendineae? Why it is present? That we have discussed, that they prevent the backward movement of the valve. They stretch the valve so that the valve does not move backward but only open towards the ventricles. The cord holds the flaps to prevent the backward movement and holds the valve properly. These chordae tendineae, they are not only present in the right ventricle, they are also present in the left ventricle. So both the sides they are present. Okay, now what will happen? Now the blood has reached from the right atrium into the right ventricle, from the left atrium into the left ventricle. Now from the right ventricle, the blood has to pumped outside into the pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery arises from the right ventricle and it sends the deoxygenated blood into the lungs. Pulmonary artery gets branched. It gets branched into two so that each one can go to the either side to each lungs. These valves, there are valves present between these pulmonary artery and the right ventricles. These are the semilunar valve which prevents the backward movement of the blood. Now next one is the aorta. Aorta arises from the left ventricle to distribute the blood to all the parts of the body. Aorta further branches into many small arteries so that they can deliver the oxygenated blood to the entire body parts. Okay, so these were some of the structures associated with your heart that pumps the oxygenated blood and receives the deoxygenated blood from your body. Okay, now there are certain key points that can also be asked in reasoning. Left ventricle has the thickest wall. Why it has a thickest wall? Because it needs to distribute the blood to the entire body. Ventricles have thicker wall as compared to the atrium. Again the same reason, since they have to pump the blood to the lungs and to the body part that is farther. Blood doesn't go back into the atrium from the ventricles because of the presence of the valves. Aorta has the semilunar valve. Pulmonary artery again has presence of semilunar valve. The bicuspid, which is also called as a mitral valve, is present between the left atrium and the left ventricle, and the tricuspid valve is present between the right atrium and the right ventricle. The wall of the ventricle is irregular and wavy. It is irregular and wavy because of the presence of the papillary muscles. That's all for today. In the next lecture, we'll be learning about the circulation of blood.